Over 7 billion people, over 8 million species, our world is complicated. With still a lot of things to discover, our knowledge is simply a drop of water in an endless sea, still far away from the full understanding of our world. Yet we still continue to move on forward, pursuing and discovering things that we couldn't have imagined. We continue to grow and learn. So, you might also be here to do exactly that, to expand your knowledge and learn more about our world. So, sit tight as we learn more on certain processes in one of the most mysterious yet interesting parts of the planet, the open.
Nitrogen cycle is a biogeochemical mechanism in which nitrogen is converted into a variety of forms before returning to the atmosphere through the soil and organism. Nitrogen fixation, nitrification, denitrification, degradation, and putrefaction are some of the processes involved. Nitrogen cycle is a repeating cycle of processes during which nitrogen moves through both living and non-living things, the atmosphere, soil, water, plants, animals, and bacteria. In order to move through different parts of this cycle, nitrogen must change. The next one is the sulfur cycle. So the sulfur cycle is a process that transforms sulfur between rocks, river, and living organisms. This biogeochemical process is important in geology because they have an effect on a wide range of minerals. Sulfur is needed for proper functioning of proteins and enzymes in plants, as well as in animals that rely on plants for their sulfur supply. When sulfur is absorbed in water, plants consume it. These plants are used by animals in order for them to have enough sulfur to stay healthy.
Hi, I'm Cheng and I'll be showing you the ecological reservoir in environments. Sulfur and nitrogen plays a role in certain parts of the cycle. It's important to creatures living under as part of this shows how significant nutrients perform in keeping the marine's lifespan and cycle below. Biogeochemical cycles are essential. Why? Because it's transforming matter in support of our ecosystem. Nitrogen is known to be a lot of processes in ecosystem because it is very dynamic. Nitrogen mainly enters the water through oxidation or precipitation of water. We do not want algae or bacteria entering our ecological environments, right? That's why there's so much stretch toward this through the eutrophication alone. As part of the picture, you can see factories releasing nitrogen or plants or animals in the process of fixation, transfer it through the streams, lakes, or rivers, and go into the marine ecosystem. As this part, you can see deposition. It occurs because it can build up layers of sediment or loss of kinetic energy in the fluid. It can be through wind, ice, water, gravity, or any weathered surface. Going to the next is the sulfur cycle. This is a simplified version of the sulfur cycle that works around organic carbon oxidation transforming to carbon dioxide. With sulfur being used as biological energy, it can help marine ecosystem in form of sulfates. Not only through these two, but through carbon cycle too, because it works around the atmosphere that dissolves in the ocean, for which this transform in different forms. And moving on to the anthropogenic activities.
Undoubtedly, humans are one of the main reasons on why most open waters suffer from problems that are notably harmful to them. Their anthropogenic activities deal a great impact on giving imbalance to the nitrogen and sulfur cycle, which results in giving harm to different bodies of water. These various activities are namely: Number 1. Fossil fuel combustion. Due to this activity, number of air pollutants suddenly increase, which are harmful to both environment and various atmospheric cycles, affecting different water bodies in our environment. Number 2. Agricultural activities. Due to the usage of fertilizer in this industry, these are carried up being rainwaters, then falling from open waters, affecting the stimulation of growth of microorganisms, giving harm and unstableness to the open waters. Number 3 is livestock farming. Due to this, Release of too much hydrogen sulfide happens, which is the major sulfur compound emitted from livestock production. This leads to acid rains, which are sensitive to open waters, giving it high acid levels, affecting the biodiversity which are freely living on it.
Introducing a non-native species to a new environment can have negative consequences. The species may get to be invasive or species that causes harm to the new environment. The ocean is lovely and majestic place that is home to hundreds of thousands of species. They have a bewildering cluster of variety and come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Despite knowing the ocean and its inhabitants, we still manage to screw it up with human activities. First and foremost, it is vital to avoid the introduction of invasive species. The nutrient cycle portrays the use, the development, and recycling of nutrients within the environment and is one of the primary vital forms of the nature. Elements such as carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, phosphorus, and nitrogen are fundamental to life and allow life forms to live.
The effect of anthropogenic activities and the rise of invasive species that disrupts any biogeochemical cycle, in our case, is the sulfur and nitrogen cycle in a marine setting, should not be ignored. While we talked about what these effects are, the best way to learn about it is to know why it happens. Epigenetics concerns all of these because it concerns the phenotypic changes that are not caused by genotype. This means that gene expression changes, but the gene sequence is not changed. It's important to understand that the negative effects brought upon by our destruction of our environment can be understood because of this. An example of epigenetics in open waters is how ocean acidification, one effect of anthropogenic activities that disrupts the marine nitrogen cycle, may profoundly influence the adaptive processes of diatoms, single-celled algae, important primary producers in the oceanic environment with important impacts in marine ecosystems. That's it for your dose of knowledge.
Knowledge.
Learning.
Lesson.
Lesson.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
Thank you
for
for
viewing.
watching.
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 Okay.
Okay na yan.